Hey, how's it going, guys? So what we're going to be tackling now is the domain and range of functions when given a table and given a graph, because it's a little bit different when we're looking at those two. So when it comes to a table like we're going to see down below right now, we actually have a table for the function y equals x minus 1 squared plus 2. So when I take a look at the values of that table, I can see that all of my x values, which are blue, are right here, and all of my y values that are in red are right here. So I've got when x is -2, y is 11, when x is -1, y is 6, when x is 0, y is 3, and so on and so forth. Now, when we're taking a look at domain and range, we know from the previous section that our domain is the set of all of the inputs for the function. Our x values are our inputs. So since our x values equal our inputs, which are part of our domain, we know that our domain here is just going to be all of the values that are listed as our inputs. So I'm going to do my domain, curvy brackets. My domain for this function is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the reason why that's as far as the domain goes is because those are the only values that are listed in the table. So when given a table for a function, the domain that you're going to list are only the values that are actually shown within the table. Now when it comes to the range, we have an extra consideration to make. So we know that our range is going to be a set of values, so we're going to use roughly the same format when describing it. But what I need to look at is I need to look at all of the values for the range. We see that I have 11, 6, 3, 2, 3, 6, and 11. So 11 pops up twice. So does 6. And so does 3. So I have 3 different outputs that are the same. And that's okay. Our y values are our outputs, which are the components of our range. But remember, for our y values and for our functions, every input has exactly one output. And as long as one x value has exactly one output or y value, then we know that we're good to go. So if I'm going to list my range is 2, 3, 6, and 11. Because remember, we do not want to list out the same term multiple times. So I'm going to move this down real quick because I want to show you guys something to ensure that what we have is a function. I'm going to draw some lines connecting them. So -2 is mapped to 11. -1 is mapped to 6. 0 is mapped to 3. 1 is mapped to 2. 2 is mapped to 3. 3 is mapped to 6. And 4 gets mapped to 11. So when we take a look at this, we see that each of our input values only has one line coming from it. So every input only has one output. And we notice that our outputs all have 2 lines, except for 2. The output of 2 only has 1. So we know it's a function. It's the function y equals x squared minus 1, x minus 1, y equals x minus 1 squared plus 2. And we have the domain and the range of that function based off of the table, because the table explicitly states the inputs and the outputs that are in our function. So when given a table, only list the inputs that are in the table and only list the outputs that are in the table. But when you gotta take a look at your outputs, you need to see, are there any same outputs listed? Because if so, you don't want to list them more than once. Putting them down in the range once is more than enough. I hope this helps.